Hey guys, extremely excited for Blight 3.8 to be launching tomorrow. I want to take a few moments today to discuss my build concept for 3.8, primarily because I think there is some cool interactions to be looked at and discussed among the PoE community, but also because I just think it's freaking cool if this works like I believe it's intended to. The power possibilities and build possibilities are endless. So let's get started. With the introduction of the Slayer, rework Slayer in 3.7, there was a lot of new Ascendancy skills that were just reworked and some that are just brand new. The one that I'm looking at for the purposes of this build will be Masterful Form. And I want to say the unique feature here is your maximum endurance charges is equal to your maximum frenzy charges, which at first glance it's like, okay, that's interesting, but how are we going to generate endurance charges? That's not one of the most it's not an easy endurance charge to generate, and we'll get to that. But I wanted to share this unique ability because you really don't see it anywhere else until they introduce Badge of the Brotherhood, which is your maximum frenzy charges are equal to your maximum power charges. So, uh, ergo, I think this means that your maximum power charges, let's say, I theory crafted 10, but let's play it safe and say we'll get 7 max power charges. Um, if you have 7 max power charges, then your frenzy charges are set to 7. And with this skill point allocated, your endurance charges will be set to 7. The possibilities are endless, guys. I mean, when it comes to discharge builds, whether it comes to bow builds, there are many ways to generate endurance charges, but just to have that many charges, all based on just your power charges, I think is going to be a mechanic that can be abused, but also will be quite interesting to explore, especially with the more creative um, build creative people out there in the PoE community that can make far more interesting builds than I can. So just wanted to share that with you guys. I'll go over my skill tree just to cover kind of the basis of what I'm trying to accomplish with this build. But I do want to share that with you guys just to put it out there, get your thoughts, get your feedback, and insight, of course. So I titled this build the Bob Masterful Form build because, of course, Badge of the Brotherhood, and then Masterful Form interaction, basically, which will be your max endurance and frenzy charges will be equal to your max power charges. I will be going, of course, Val Pact, primarily because I'm Slayer, and to stay alive, Life Leech effects are not removed at full life, or Brutal Fervor is probably one of the best defensive mechanics on the game. I know that there's a glove, I believe, that can give you that, but severely reduce your maximum life leech rate, which is detrimental to a build like this if you're relying on it for defenses. Endless Hunger, which immunity to stun and bleed, which is fantastic because you will always be leeching. Impact didn't see too much of a nerf, but of course, Cyclone as a whole saw a dramatic change into its multiplicative AoE being reduced to just additive AoE per melee range. So it's kind of a bummer, but we kind of all saw it coming when the Cyclone was covering the whole damn screen. And so that's kind of just where I'm at as far as Slayer. I can go this side of the tree, but across the board nerfs we're seeing here, except for Headsman. You got 10% less movement speed and attack speed. Could go for immunity, reflect immunity, but and of course it could go for overwhelm. But I just think we'll have enough sources of crit, chance, and multi that this is just superfluous and not needed. Again, Valpact, going over this side of the tree. I would love to get the AoE because we're going to be cyclone based using a shaped staff. All the life notes here. Wanted to get these for the block chance and the red nightmare. Of course, endurance charge generation was something that I mentioned earlier. How we're going to do it. One way to easily tackle it will be to get smashing strikes with staffs, and then also combine it with a precursor's ring for max power charge, as well as 15% chance for when you gain an endurance charge to gain up to your maximum number of endurance charges. It's just more quality of life. I've rolled hundreds of precursor's rings, so I have a good idea of how to get what I want, but also how to manipulate combinations of rings to get the best chance to get the precursor ring that I need for this build. It's entirely possible to get it. Will not be week 1, probably might not be week 2, because we don't have that many people killing all the Crystal King in those first 2 weeks of the league. And then, of course, when they do sell the rings, it's going to be for an insane amount of monies that I probably won't have that early in the league. And I'm not visiting those Chinese gold farmers, just because that can severely hurt your account, and possibly cause you to lose your account, which is not worth it, of course. But also we'll be getting power. Moving on, we'll be getting power charges for this build. Again, max power charges will be the primary purpose of this build, and that will be because we want to get higher maximum power charges, the higher endurance, and the higher frenzy charges will be able to go. The wonderful thing about staff nodes, if you guys haven't noticed, is that a lot of the stuff is global. Here we go. Let's go over here and take a look at this. Excuse me. Global crit strike, global crit multi, and the global comes into play and helps if you want to kind of switch it up and go spellcaster, or even do a cyclone cast while channeling spells such as Blade Vortex. The beauty of the power charges build is that your frenzy multiplicative damage bonus will apply to both your spells and your skills, all your offensive abilities. And then, of course, if you choose to go power charge on crit support gem, that damage multiplier, I believe it's 4%, will also apply to your attacks and your spells. So there's lots of possibilities here, guys. Again, I mentioned discharge. Possibilities are endless with this build, which is why I really want to see if the interaction works the way I believe it's intended to work. With your staff, you also get global AoE, 3% increase area of effect per power charge with enigmatic reach. Oh my gosh. Enigmatic reach. You also have these 3 nodes here, which are amazing. Mana regeneration per power charge, I believe 80%, max 10 power charges with the staff, shape staff for the +1 max power charge. So 80% increased mana regeneration rate. I can't talk. That will help with your nerf to reduce mana cost per channeling skill for Cyclone. 80% increased crit chance, and then 50% crit multi. So you get all that, which is 3-point investment because of the high amount of power charges we will have. More life notes here, power charge, of course, more AoE. We're an AoE based build with Cyclone and possibly Blade Vortex. Again, more life. And then I'll travel all this way, you guys, just for an additional power charge because it's imperative for this build to get as high an amount of power charges as possible. So that about concludes it, guys. I don't want to take too much time with this video. I just want to introduce to you kind of the build mechanic that I wanted to go, and again, get your thoughts on it. I appreciate any feedback you have. I'll be checking the comments and be reporting on this build as it progresses in Blight League 3.8. Take it easy, guys. I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.